How's everyone doing today? We're doing Certified Menace on Tallman. Now, to start this movie off, I have to explain that Tallman basically has this ability where he can go tranny mode. So he can like switch between this character called the Woman in Lavender, which is basically just this woman that just wears purple, and he can just switch between himself. So basically the movie opens up with the Tallman in tranny mode riding someone's cock like a roller coaster, and then after he does that, he kills them. So then we cut to the main character, the main protagonist of this film series, Michael. He's at a fortune teller's place, and he's talking to him about Jodie leaving, how he doesn't want Jodie to leave and all. And who am I gonna annoy now when Jodie's gone and shit, like, you know. And he also tells her about he's also there because when he was riding around in his motorbike in the cemetery, he saw the tall man just standing there, just looking out in the distance or some shit, like he's dazed or confused. So he basically just fell off of his bike because he got scared by that. And and then a box just appears out of nowhere, and the fortune teller's daughter tells Michael to, yo, put your hand in there. You're gonna get like a free bag of bonbons if you put it in there. So then he gets his arm trapped in there. So then the box of virginity just fucking traps his arm and is like, right, Michael, just don't be scared, yeah? Just keep your hand in there. There's nothing to fear. So then Michael, you know, he can't get the box off him. This box has been like trapped with super glue or some shit. Like he's just stuck to his hand. It's like a part of him now. So then once he stops fearing, he's able to get it off him, and then he just pops a few quid on the box and it just disappears back. So then we cut to Michael's older brother, Jody, who pulls up at a bar and he picks up a woman, and they go, for some reason, they just go to a cemetery to do their holy matrimony of fucking and sucking. That is a really random place for him to go fuck. And then who do we else have? Michael, he followed his brother home because, I don't know, he's like attached to his brother like a Lego piece or something. Like he, everywhere his brother goes, he goes to his brother. It's like Michael has an AirTag on Jody, and he just follows him wherever he goes. So then he goes to the cemetery, and Michael just looks. He's getting fucking top notch entertainment there over here. He's just watching his brother just fuck this woman Lavender in the cemetery, and thinking, it's a bit weird, but like back in the day, you know, there wasn't really any, so bro really wanted to know what porn was like. So then while he's watching his brother do the baby creation process, he hears a noise and he looks around and he sees some fucking short dwarfism dude in a cloak or some shit just run at him. It looked like a fucking sentient potato just came at him, just started growling and shit at him. And then he like runs out the fucking cemetery just screaming. That part was actually pretty funny to me in the movie, bro. Just like sprints out the cemetery just screaming his ass off while his brother's trying to get it on. So then Mike is thinking, yo, there's something up with the tall man. There's something up. I need to go back there and check it. So he goes back to the funeral home and he breaks in and he's walking around, and then he comes across a big flying ass he comes across like a flying metal ball that just runs at him, that just flies at him, and he ducks underneath. So then he's running back, and he gets fucking attacked by P. Diddy from the shadows. Like some random ass dude just comes out of the darkness, puts him in a headlock. Fucking Michael felt a bit hungry. He didn't get fed today, so he just decided to bite down on his arm. Bit of munchies. So then the flying metal ball goes into the guy's face. It stabs him, and he starts drilling into his skull. And then out of the asshole of the metal ball, it just like starts spraying like red blood and shit everywhere. It looks like, honestly, the man was made of like Ribena or some shit, because it literally just looks like it's spraying the fountain of Ribena and stuff and all. And then the tall man appears, and the tall man chases Michael into this room, and he closes it onto the tall man's fingers. He chops off the tall man's fingers actually, and it looks like he just starts bleeding like mustard or custard or some shit like that. His blood is literally yellow. It literally had the consistency as like custard. So then there's more these zombie dwarfs in the room. They try to grab Michael, be like, yo, we're gonna kill you. So then Michael makes it out of the funeral home barely, because like they're fucking grabbing and gnawing on him like Justin Bieber's fans at Justin Bieber, you know. They're just trying to get him. So then once Mike gets home now, he's like wondering, right, so let's see what this mustard finger is all about, you know. He opens the box, and then a demon bug just like jumps at him. Some bug from like hell or some shit just jumps at Mike. He closes the box again, and then the demon bug has like teleporting powers or some shit, because he appears on Mike's head. And I think this is probably like one of those, I don't know, freaky scenes or some shit, because like imagine just having a bug just crawling on your head like out of nowhere. It's like this shit muncher's just on top of Mike's head. Mike he wraps it up in his jacket, because he's gonna give it to his auntie for a Christmas present. So then Jody, comes and helps him, and they're both struggling with this bug, because this bug is just fucking tough. This bug is a rabid piece of shit. So then Mike and Jody, they try to shove it down the disposal in their sink. They try to stab it out. It keeps flying out. This fucker's like, this fucker is too persistent. He really wants to like eat some more shit. Like he really wants to do its favorite passion of just eating shit. So then they grab it again, and then this time they make sure it's actually gone. They shove it down the disposal and fucking stab it to death. Make sure it's like obliterated. So then we come back to Jody, the older brother. He goes back to the funeral home, and a dwarf attacks him. A dwarf jumps on top of him because it wants to give him a wild hickey, and he like has this pistol. He like whips it out, and he like manages to shoot the dwarf off of him while the dwarf is literally on top of him, like licking his head like an ice cream. So then Jody gets out of the funeral home, and the car, I think the dwarf managed to get into a car, and it drives after him. He shoots the car drives off, then his younger brother comes and collects him, and they're, basically having a speed chase with this car, or this car's driving after them, and they're trying to shoot it. Jody manages to shoot it, and actually manages to make it go kabeam, makes it go Allahu Akbar. So then he calls up Reggie, who's his friend who like sells ice cream to, kids. He's like a ice cream P. Diddy. So then he calls Reggie up and be like, yo, I have new fresh ingredients for your new ice cream. It's a dead zombie dwarf. Yeah, it's going to make a great new flavor. Great new sherbet ice cream. So then he gets basically Reggie to, bring this zombie dwarf to the antique store. And Jody was going to get Michael to stay with his aunt Susan and Sally, I'm fairly sure. One of them, Sally's her aunt. I'm not sure who the fuck Susan was. So Jody gets Michael to stay with her. But then after he notices the tall man moving in the picture, looking at Mike, he's just like, "Ray, I want to go home. You're gonna take me home right now. This is so boring. There's no Game Boy here. There's no PlayStation here. I want to go home." Okay. So then, meanwhile, Jody's sleeping in the fireplace. He's just sleeping nice, toasty, warmy, and he's dreaming about that he's back in the funeral home. And he notices the tall man, and from behind the wall, one of the tiles just pop off, like a Jack-in-the-Box just came out of the wall. Your walls. The Jack-in-the-Box was in the walls. And then the hand just grabs Jody, and he wakes up just in time. So then, as Mike is being driven home by Sally and Susan, they see the ice cream man is tipped over. So then Mike's thinking, Ray, I can stuff my fat face with this free ice cream munch, because I'm a fat fuck, Mike goes over to the ice cream truck, checks what's up, and then he finds some more mustard on the ground, and he's thinking, right, so the mustard people are back. So he needs to go back into his house, into the car, and he tries to get Sally and Susan drive off, because something's fucked. The mustard gods have rebelled, So then a door gets ripped off by one of these mustard people, who's the zombie dwarf, and they grab Susan and Sally, and they're basically attacking all three of them. They push Mike out of the car, out the back of the window of the car, and it just drives off. Thinking, hey, I got women now, and you don't, okay? So see you later. So Mike goes back to Jody, tell him about the great mustard man. Our fucking family just got robbed by people who are made from the same stuff that you put on a hot dog. So Jody, after hearing this information, he's like, right, you're grounded, and I'm gonna go to the funeral home myself to sort this all out, because I want to get all the custard. You can't have shit, you little runt. So then Jody, basically locks Mike into his room. He wedges a screwdriver. He really upgraded the security on this shit. And there's a really cool scene, actually, that I thought was pretty sick in the movie. The way Michael broke out, I thought was pretty cool. He basically gets like a shotgun shell, and he puts a nail into it, and then he tapes that nail to his hammer, and he like bonks the hammer a bit, and it like creates a little it explodes like a little hole in the door, and he basically puts his hand through that, takes a screwdriver and gets out, which I thought was a pretty cool scene. So then when Mike's about to leave the gaff, a tall man appears out of nowhere and be like, Ray, I need to finish my child collection. So he grabs Michael, trucks him into the funeral car, and they're basically driving towards the funeral home. But Michael has this ingenious idea of using the Glock that he has on him. He forgot that he had a fucking Desert Eagle on him. I think it's a Desert Eagle. It looked like it. I don't know. But he shoots the back window, and then just for great measure, just to turn tall man into barbecue man, he shoots the wheel. He jumps out the car. The car drives into a pole, and it explodes. Mike goes to the funeral home. Then he opens up the casket. And notices, this one's empty. Shit. The dwarf's out and about, so he obviously gets scared and freaked out. So he's running away, screaming, and there's a metal ball flying towards him. But then right before it hits Mike, Jody just pops out of the showers and just fucking blicks it, just pow, just shoots it with a shotgun. So then, Reggie actually pops out of nowhere as well. It turns out he was alive. He didn't, get munched up for dessert by the dwarves when they fucked up his ice cream man. So they end up going into this room in the funeral home, which is like there's barrels of shit just everywhere, like just barrels of beer, whiskey and shit. It's just black barrels just surrounding them, and there's like these two metal cylinders in the ground, and they're basically supposed to be a gateway to the man's home, which is basically the nether, because Mike. He basically remembers what the woman in the fortune teller's granddaughter said about like, oh, don't be a pussy. If you're a pussy, you won't be getting no bussy. So Mike just puts his hand through the gateway. He's thinking, right, so if I don't be scared, my hand won't get chopped off, right? So he gets sucked into the dimension, and he's in there for a split second. It literally looks like they're inside of an oven or some shit. It's all red, it's all hot and shit, and he notices that on the ground and all, they're shoving these dead zombie doors into the barrel because they're gonna smuggle them into a pub, So he gets pulled out of the dimension for a bit. Jody saves his ass, and then electricity goes out. I don't know, maybe zombie door just fucking attacked the fuse box. So then everyone gets attacked. Mike gets attacked. Jody, I don't know where the fuck he goes. He just teleports out the fucking building. And then Mike, the electricity goes back on, and it's just Reggie in the room, surrounded by the stack of barrels. So he puts his hands on the two metal bars. I don't know why. The only reason I could think of is because earlier on in the movie, Jody and Reggie are playing guitar together outside the gaff, and Reggie had like this metal prong, and he puts two fingers on it, and it sort of just like stopped sound from ringing. So then he puts his two hands on this big metal bar, these two cylinders, which is basically a gateway to the dimension, and everything, it turns into like a Hoover or some shit. Everything starts getting sucked in. No, the barrels, Reggie almost gets sucked in, but he has like the grip strength of 1,000 gooners because he manages to crawl out of the room just barely. And it ends up having such stronger suction force than a porn star, because it ends up sucking up everything as well outside the funeral home. So then Reggie, after getting outside the funeral home, he notices a woman lying on the ground, pretending to be dead. It's the woman in lavender. So then when he turns her over, he gets stabbed, and it turns out it was the tall man being woman mode. So then Jody tells Mike, go back to this house, lock everything, make sure the tall man can't go in there, and bring his short women. And so then Mike goes back, he's there locking up everything, but then this one window he tries to lock, this window is just refusing. This window is like is going on strike. It just refuses to be closed. So then he opens up the curtains, tall man is there, he fucking punches right through the window. He's like, right, I want to crush this child's skull. So then Mike runs away, and Mike is walking around, just probably looking around like, where's the tall man? Because like it's pure silence. He's in darkness. So then he walks into the kitchen for the show, and tall man, he just busts down the door without using his hands or anything. It's like he just like imagined, right? So daughter fall down, yeah, and that's how he done it. I don't know. I think maybe he has telekinetic abilities, or I don't know, but it did seem like he's able to bust the door down without doing anything. And then the tall man just says, "Boy." So then Jody has this plan of basically getting the tall man to fall down 1,000 pit of shit. It's 1,000 feet deep, and it's supposed to trap the tall man. So tall man's chasing Mike. Mike runs through this mud, and a bunch of hands grab him and shit, and they're trying to pull him down. They're being like, right, Mike, join the shit people. The shit city is waiting for you, So then Mike remembered being like, right, don't be a pussy or else you won't get no bussy. So then he actually isn't scared anymore. So he manages to escape the shit grasp. And the tall man's like right behind him. He's so close that he could just like sniff his ass like a dog. So then Mike jumps over like this hole that's covered in like a cloth or some shit, to hide that it's a pit. So then the tall man, he steps onto it, he falls down the 1,000 pit of hell, and then like a bunch of rocks and all fall on top of the hole and shit, because I guess the tall man tried to suck his way out of the hole. It's basically blocking the hole. You're like watch this movie, I think, yeah, he's gone, right? No, because turns out that was all in his head, or it was a dream, because towards the end of the film, turns out Jody died like last week along with his friends. Jody was actually never alive. So I have no idea if the tall man actually came after Mike, or if he's just dreaming the whole thing. Like the whole movie is just like a FNAF 4 game. It never happened. But I'm fairly sure it did happen. So this is where the movie just gets a bit confusing. It kind of mixes fake with reality, kind of like a one mindfuck smoothie. So Mike's in his room, and he notices the tall man was in his wardrobe door mirror. So he turns around, the tall man's standing there. So then Mike is just standing there confused and a bit shocked. And then hands just come up, grab Mike from behind, crashing through the mirror, just grab Mike and just take him away. And that's the end of the film, really. That's how the film ended, which I thought was pretty cool. And a cliffhanger making you want to watch the second one. I thought the movie was pretty solid. I really fuck with the music. The music did go in, I will say. And yeah, that was me doing Certified Menace on the Tall Man. Hope you did enjoy this video. See you later.